Alright, we're back, part 2 with Kurt Wilson. Y'all just sit tight and listen to what the man has to say. I'll be with you in a minute. I'm going to stay right here.
Join the military, you're in a government job. You get drafted, you're in a government job. So, this is what he's talking about. Obama's talking about millions of people being put to work in government jobs.
In the government.
And that's going to be in the government. And that's going to be in the military. We're having right now, and pretty soon it's going to be the only job anybody can get.
Pretty much.
I talked to two customers of Survival Enterprises. That's my company, by the way. And I'm sorry, everybody, our site's down. It will be up by the end of the day, but we had to keep it down because we were so busy. I'll explain in a few minutes why we had to take the site down. But I talked to a couple customers who have doctorates. These people are very learned, very able, and very willing to work, and they can't find a job. I'm not exaggerating. Neither of them, they can't even get a job at McDonald's. They're trying to get work. They can't find work. All of their jobs are being outsourced.
Mm-hmm.
They're being sent to India, Czechoslovakia, Poland,
please listen.
Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole list of different countries. Unfortunately, all of these, now these are service jobs. Now what they were doing was handling technical aspects for different computer operating systems.
Being outsourced.
So that's a service type of thing. In other words, they don't roll up their sleeves and get dirty, right? Well, factories where people roll up their sleeves and get dirty are slashing output worldwide. I talked last week about a couple different factories in China that were shutting down. Watch the dominoes. I got more.
They're
when
falling.
we come back on the flip side with the Armchair Survivalist.
The dominoes are falling. They're falling, my people. You better listen up to what this man's saying, I'm telling you. Going to a commercial there, I'd like to talk to you for a minute about this. I'm telling you right now. People that have PhDs and have been to college and all, they can't even find a job flipping burgers. They can't get it. You know, somebody wrote me and emailed me the other day, or sent me a personal message and said, well, I got this much debt, I got this vehicle, I got all this, I got all that. Well, you might want to consider doing something. You might want to consider cutting your losses and get rid of that son of a gun and buy you something that don't cost $30,000 if that's what you're under. Okay? I mean, even if you were blind and you didn't see this coming, it ain't too late to do something now. You know? What I told him, I said, if you can't, you know, get rid of the vehicle if you can. You might want to consider a lesser priced vehicle. And you may even want to consider this. You may want to consider chipping away at that debt, but don't not buy food. Keep buying the food as long as you go. And if you're in a situation and you live in paying $1,000 rent, hey man, there's so many foreclosed homes out there, you could probably find one to rent that's cheaper. You have to think. I can't explain to you your situation when I'm not living it. I tell you the best of my ability what I know to tell you, but I'm telling you right now that it's like Kurt Wilson said, the dominoes are falling. Once you tap that first one, they just keep going and going and going and going and going and going and going until the last one falls, and that's it. And that's where we're at now. The dominoes have been tipped, and they're falling. They're falling. Okay? And that is your timeline from the time that first one's tipped, which already done happened, until you get to that whole end and that last one falls, and that's when it's too late. Okay? Think about it. Think about what I'm telling you. This thing is serious. It's serious business, man. This ain't a game. The job losses are there. They'll continue to be there. I did a video on Walmart cutting 46% of its force according to an email that an employee got. Okay? I'm sure you hadn't heard that on the mainstream news, but that don't make it not be true. Okay? You know, there's a lot going on here, and I'm telling you right now, we better get our head out of the sand and quit being corporate sheep in this flock of destruction. Okay? And we better wake up now, and we better find a way. Use your intelligent brain that God gave you to find a way to store up on food. I got to tell you, this man that you've been listening to, I bought a ton of food from this man. Not only did I have the corn, the green beans, and all that, I got 5 and 10 year food that will last. Do you understand me? And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I believe it's going to continue to collapse. Okay, but let's just say this old bull was wrong. Let's just say that the New World Order puts it off for 2 more years. Okay, if I bought 3 years of food, I ain't got to buy that high-priced food next year or the year after next. You get what I'm saying to you? Okay, but I believe, in my opinion, in my heart, that we're headed down, and we're already in a depression. I'm telling you, look it up. It's just like Kurt Wilson said, and I give him the credit for coming up with that. It's kind of like the forest of trees. If there's a few trees there on that acreage, and you see them burning, my God, the whole thing's destroyed. But there's more people now, and I'm using the analogy of trees, than there were then, and it's burning a little bit here, burning a little, and you don't notice this as much because the forest is so much bigger, which equates to the people, you see. But it's there, and it's happening. I can guarantee you this much, that there are tons of people out there that could make videos about their losses, their job losses, even the repossession of vehicles, and voluntary turning in of vehicles, and the list goes on and on and on. And even the people living in the tents. It's there, it's here, it is right before our very eyes if we'll wake up and look at it. Anyway, I'm going to try to skip through this commercial and let him talk again. Y'all bear with me. Bear with me, y'all.
Term story: beef, chicken, turkey, bacon. A small squeeze of .com will spray your
Y'all bear with me.
cameras. Save your money. Good.
Visit G.
Watching it happen 6 months down the road from when you talk. But this does happening now. So factories are closing worldwide because people aren't spending worldwide. It's a long domino thing. Housing costs are diving worldwide.
That's right.
Not just in California. California has lost at least 50% of the value of all their houses. Now we know that this housing bubble is just now starting to splatter.
That's
But
right.
that's not going to be the worst part. The worst part is the commercial bubble is
It's
starting
on the way.
to get
I know some
bad.
people in commercial real
And it's
estate
gonna
who's
get
telling the
worse
truth.
because this Christmas season was, to use the term dismal, is like saying Adolf Hitler had a slight personality defect. The sales for Christmas season were astounding. We all know Macy's is going out of business. They wanted to stay in business just through the Christmas season so they can try and dump a lot of their inventory. Well, halfway through the season, Macy's realized they weren't going to dump their inventory. So instead, they started gouging people.
Yep.
And I warned you about this. Don't fall for it just because it says sale up to 70% off. Most of the times it's bogus. I'm in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and we got this store here called Red Oak. About 6 months ago, they start telling everybody how they're going out of business, and the last day will be December 31st. And everything's 10, 20, 30% off, 40%, 50% off. So there's all of the sheeple in there running around going, oh my God, look at this Pendleton shirt. They only want $42. And I'm standing here next to the guy, and I said, buddy, right down the street is a Pendleton store. They sell the same shirt for $29.95.
Mm-hmm.
So
Be careful of the gouging.
And this is happening all over the United States. But Macy's actually got caught at it. So they're being investigated by the Federal Trade Commission right now.
Did you hear that? That's right. I'm telling you, they're trying to dump the inventory because they're going to go out of business. Do you understand me? I've seen the signs up to 50% off. I'm telling you right now, they generally mark that crap up way out of sight, and then they mark it back down, and you still get screwed, you see. You have to be careful, because you got to understand, this is greedy corporate America that's been stealing from us to start with, them and the bankers and the government, and they're going to continue to do it until we wake up from it. This is End Time Watchman, and thanks to the Armchair Survivalist and his permission, I hope that I brought you some information that's helped you a little bit. I'm going to do another part. I'll be back in a minute.